InnerQuest explores various pathways through which you can connect with the infinite wisdom of the universe and apply it to personal, professional, and spiritual growth. This program, featuring accomplished practitioners, educators, and authors, is provided by Infinity Foundation, an innovative center for holistic studies and research. We invite you to share this journey with us.
Hello, welcome to InnerQuest. My name is Jay Stone, your host for today, and our guest is Aimee Edwards. Welcome, Aimee.
Oh, thank you, Jay. Nice to meet you.
I'll tell our audience a little bit about you. Aimee is a elementary education teacher and a licensed brain gym instructor. Aimee says her most important job is being a mom. Aimee has been getting great results with improving focus, relaxation, and impulse control. With children?
With children and adults, actually.
Okay. And are you currently teaching?
I am teaching. I teach English as a second language to children grades 3 through 8.
And so do you find focus, relaxation, impulse control important for your students?
Of course, yes, of course. We use the movement several times during the day to help them to stay focused and keep working.
And when you say the movement, is that the brain gym movement?
Right. Brain gym is a series of movements that help to ready the brain for learning.
Is there any way you can show them?
Sure. I brought my model of a brain to show how it works.
Okay.
What happens is when we're under stress, we get stuck in the survival center of the brain, which some call the reptilian brain. Mm-hmm. And so what I say to my students is, reptiles, can they read or write or do math? And of course not, but because they don't have the huge neocortex that we have.
Okay.
So when we're under stress,
and what is the neocortex?
The cerebrum.
Okay. What you want to talk about the functions?
The function. That's all the higher level thinking skills that we have.
Executive learning from experience.
Right, and
being able to focus,
reasoning,
and concentrate.
Right. And so when we get stuck in the survival center, our access to the neocortex is limited by about 65 to 70%. Research is showing.
And why is it bad to have limited access to the neocortex?
Because when we're in the survival center, our eyes are switched on for looking for danger in our environment. Our ears are switched on for listening for danger in our environment, and therefore it's very difficult for kids to focus on one person speaking or on a paper for reading when their eyes are switched on for the environment.
And you're talking about prevention and perhaps intervention.
Sure.
But is there any research that shows why children or adults get stressed so easily and have trouble with focus and concentration?
I think that our environment has changed so much with so much activity and almost too much computers and
stimuli.
Right, outside. And so therefore when we are stressed, our muscles are tense and signals to our brain that we're in danger, so we have that limited access. So a lot of the brain gym movements help to relax our muscles and release the tension in the tendons that help us to access again our neocortex.
And are you using brain gym movements in your classroom?
I do. I use them for the first few minutes of the day, and I also have been invited to teach other teachers how to use the movements to help their children and their classrooms.
And how is the staff at your school, your supervisors, are they okay with you using?
Yes, they've been seeing the results. I actually have some special ed students come in the morning, and I do some of the movements with them so that they're ready for the day.
Okay. And what about, are there entire schools or school systems that embrace the brain gym movements?
That's correct, yes, there are. I think I'm done with it. Well, we can also talk about the corpus callosum also.
Oh, the corpus callosum,
right.
Sure.
So what the brain gym does with that is we know that the left side of the brain is more detail-oriented with parts and pieces, and the right side of the cortex is more dealing with the big picture. So we know for everything from math to reading to even artwork, we need the details as well as the whole. What the issue is that...
and by the way, the two sides of the brain almost look identical except sliced.
That's right.
And so even though they're identical,
they
each
have
brain
different jobs,
okay.
different areas. I mean, it is mixed throughout. It's not as categorized as they thought it was before, with more research that different parts of the brain can take over if there's damage. But the corpus callosum is so small, it looks like it's one big piece, but it's actually only connected by that small area. So some of the brain gym movements help to myelinize the neural pathways between the two sides of the brain to increase communication.
Now, with people that are left-handed, is the brain functions reversed?
And not that I'm aware of. I believe that there's still the people that are left-handed tend to be more right brain dominant, but that's not even true. They see people like I've done a dominance profile on myself, and even though I'm right-handed, I tend to be right brain dominant, which when I was in school was really problematic, and they think that many of the kids in special ed are actually right brain dominant, right eye, right hand, right leg, so when they're under stress, their side that connects all the schoolwork is all the way shut down, so they are very limited in their abilities.
And so does the brain gym exercise help to kind of stabilize the brain? It
does. It helps to balance the ability so that we are able to access better the both sides of the brain. So it's a little more balanced and integrated.
Okay. And when did you learn about brain gym?
Funny enough, a friend of mine had given me the books several years ago, probably over 10 years ago, but sometimes it takes a while, like a seed to be planted. Mm-hmm. And it took a while for me to pick up the books and learn, and also about something about brain gym. It really does need to be taught. We have a great new teacher's manual that is really wonderful, but still it's better to be taught from a licensed teacher how to learn to do brain gym. So when I first had learned, I only could figure out 2 or 3 movements.
You use the word licensed teacher. Mm-hmm. I thought licensure is only supposed to be used, let's say, getting like a state license.
This is brain gym. Has requirements for several classes to take before you can actually be an instructor of brain gym.
Okay, yeah, I guess you can license the use of a product. So
sure.
Yeah.
So you can take a Brain Gym 101 class and use it for your family or in your job, but you cannot teach other people how to do brain gym unless you have a license.
Okay. And so what sparked your curiosity in brain gym?
My boys both have ADD, and so it was another kind of modality to help them, and. So it took a little while for me because it is so simple. It's so simple that a lot of people, including myself, kind of thought, oh, that's not really going to work. But I did use some of them, and then the more I got used to using them, the more I was interested.
Well, for the parents who might be watching this, what are some of the symptoms of ADD?
When my son, I didn't think could have ADD because he could sit for hours working with Legos and build and build and build. So I thought, oh, he can't have ADD because he can stay focused on something like that. But the problem is when they're not interested. So even if kids are really interested in something, it's only what they want, and then they could stay focused. But sometimes schoolwork is very problematic, and there's different types of ADD.
And you want to mention the types of ADD?
Well, there's the 2 main types are just the inattentive ADD and the hyperactive ADD. Both of my kids had the inattentive ADD.
Yeah, and neuropsychiatrist Daniel Aimee, he talks about overfocused
Sure,
ADD.
he has quite a few different types of ADD in
modes,
his,
yeah.
Right.
Overfocused, where it would be like your son sitting for hours focusing on his Lego blocks, and then the underfocus, where a young child can't focus or concentrate. Now, it seems that boys or males get ADD more than females, and that's just my hunch or my experience. Would you agree with that?
Well, according to the brain gym research and what brain gym is showing, it tends to be more that our brains are not fully integrated, and so many children are under so much stress today that they're just not able to access their cortex. And one of my great stories about brain gym is that my son was on the ADD medication for 6 years, and it worked really well for him. He was in honors classes and he was doing well. He still had a delay, so he got extra time on tests. But after I had read Carla Hannaford's book, she writes a lot about smart moves. She has a book called Smart Moves that speaks to the inability to separate movement from learning, how important it is for us to be moving when our kids are learning. That's what helps to integrate the areas.
What does that mean to
That
move
means
and learn?
that means that that kids need to be up, that we shouldn't be getting rid of recess or gym classes where there is movement, that it's so important.
So when kids were fidgeting at their desk and
That might be a time to get up and do one of the brain gym movements, or
Yeah.
walk and get some water, something to keep them moving. Because actually when we're sitting, everything kind of slows down, and we're not able to access our higher brain function.
Okay. And so how long you've been using Brain Gym? I think you said 10 years?
I've been using unofficially for 10 years. I got my official licensing just last year. So, and I had taken my first class in 2009. And after I took that first class, I came home using it. Anybody who would let me use Brain Gym with them.
And how has your use of Brain Gym transformed over the years?
I've actually just used it more and more. Learned the tools more, I suppose, deeply, and that's the reason that Brain Gym needs to be licensed. It has to be something you really learn in your body. Since they're movements, they need to be done repeatedly.
Okay. Now, you said before the show that you use some of the Brain Gym exercises to help you stay calm, relaxed.
Right.
Talk about, let's say, how you use Brain Gym on a daily basis.
Well, a lot of things with Brain Gym is having an intention or a goal that you want to achieve. So for me, my goal was to be natural and energetic and knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then I did different movements that we are all, like Carla Hannaford speaks about, we are all the masters. We really know, if we trust in our body, we know which movements will help us to attain those goals. So you choose a goal, and then you choose some of the movements, and then in essence all the kind of stressful feelings that you have when you're thinking about the goal tend to go away.
And what about, let's say, doing Brain Gym with a partner or a friend or a sibling?
There's lots of Brain Gym movements that can be assisted and are very nice to be able to do together with somebody, and it's very helpful. All of the tools can be done alone, but it is obviously, just about anything else, nice to be with somebody.
Okay, and so how is it helpful to do Brain Gym with someone else?
There's it's an assisted movement where I might give some resistance to your muscles to help to release the tension.
Could we do a demonstration here?
Sure.
Okay.
We could. Would you want me to do an assisted with
Sure.
you? Okay. One of the things where our body is tense for fight or flight, when we're under stress, all of our muscles in our arms and our shoulders are ready for fighting. So they get very tense. So that's one of the parts of the body in our shoulders where it signals to our brain we're in danger. So if you would like to, I'll stand behind you.
Okay.
And you can just sit down and raise
You got
your...
to be careful. You're
Oh,
on
my
a cord.
cord. Okay, so if you want to...
Okay. Yeah, I'll turn this way.
And then if you would put your arms straight up.
Like that?
Yep. And you're going to... let me pull you back.
Not let you pull you
Right.
back? Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Good. And now you're not going to let me push you in.
Okay. 2,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So this is like an isometric exercise.
Right. And now backwards.
Okay, and just resist.
6, 7, 8. Good. And now don't let me push you down.
Okay.
Okay. And now you can put your arms down.
Okay.
And that's that's called the arm activation.
Okay.
And that helps to release the tension in your...
And were you able to feel tension, or can you sense tension when you do that with people?
It's more of a release for you. So that's
Okay.
one where I'm assisting your movement and the release of the muscles in your neck and your underneath your arms.
Now, if somebody was to do that by him or herself, how could you release the tension?
This was one that doesn't feel as good. You lift up and you resist yourself. So you're pushing
Oh, sure.
back.
Yeah.
So once you feel it, that's what I usually do
And
with
then-
my kids, and then you, yes,
Like that.
use to each side.
Well, I would think this would be helpful for teachers because they're getting to do the exercise along with
Right,
with
along with the
students.
children, right. Mhm.
And I would think it would create a unity or cohesiveness in the classroom because
Sure.
everybody's doing the same thing with the same goal and intention.
Mm-hmm.
Do you actually find that the students then start requesting brain gym exercise?
They do, especially